Canon sent me through the Canon R6 and the 24-105 and also the 70-200 f4. So I'm comparing them with the old 5D Classic and the lenses. So the new 24-105 is about the same weight and size as the old 24-105. And there's nothing wrong with the lens. Optically it's extremely good. I'm going to give you some samples at the end of this, so stay tuned because we'll have a look at those. But there are a few things you need to know about this lens that, you know, may make you go back to the old lens. It depends what you want really. I can see some benefits to both, and this is the hardest thing at the moment with camera systems. We don't know what to do. The RF mount is extremely well engineered. So the joint there is so tight, it's brilliant. So I think what they've done with the RF mount is well worth doing. You've always had a slight play with the older EF mount, so tiny amount. I always thought that play was for expansion, but the new RF mount is extremely tight. So that feels a lot better. There's nothing in it. I can't feel any movement in that joint. So it feels solid, solid in your hand. So using this camera, it's all good quality, and the lens is good quality as well in terms of build quality. The plastics are very different. So although they've ended up a similar sort of weight, the actual materials they're made of are different. A different sort of plastic. So it's sort of a love-hate thing really. You probably get both in your hand and you just think, you know, which one you prefer, but it's not a deal breaker. I don't think this lens is any less quality. Now, one thing they have changed is they put a ring on the front which you can assign to ISO, shutter speed, aperture. You can do what you like with the ring. So, and as firmware changes, I should think you can assign a lot of different things to this ring. There's no reason that they can let you do anything with it. So I've been using that as an ISO dial. Had some success with it. One thing I haven't gone with so much is the viewfinder and trying to be accurate when you're changing your ISO with a histogram. But maybe we'll go into that a different day. We're on the lens really. So yeah, the ring's really good, useful. Is it is it real necessity? So no, I've got on fine with this for the past 15 years. So, but it's nice to have the option to put something on that ring. The focus rings, although the actual materials are different than the spacing of the ring, again, it's absolutely fine. There's no real difference. Now, one area that it does change everything is how tight the zoom ring is. Now, in my opinion, and this again is personal preference, this zoom ring is too tight. Now, as I'm pulling the zoom,
here's what I found.
I'm getting a real friction there, and it might loosen up. So, you know, you could probably, you know, if you use this for a while regularly, this could loosen up, or it could stiffen up into quite a squeaky lens. We don't know. You'd have to use it. But for me, I do not like tight zoom rings like that because it jolts. You can see it literally jolt in my right hand as I'm trying to turn it and back again. And I'll go from 24 to 105 really quickly. You notice I'm doing it in 2. So I'm having to go 1, reposition my hand, 2. The reason I keep hold of this lens for weddings is because it's so quick. You can just literally flick it in one motion. So if I'm on 24 and on wide angle and I suddenly see a portrait, I can just whiz straight over, do the portrait, back to reportage, documentary, 24, 35mm, very easily. So I prefer this ring, and you have to be honest, you can get some sticky ones of these as well. You have to find them out. This was a particularly smooth version, so I've kept this lens. I'm also preferring the width of the grip on the Mk1. So that to me, and I know these all seem like very picky things, but when you're working, you know, 6-8 hours at a wedding, being able to carry a camera around by a narrow neck, it's very easy to grab. And I found this one quite uncomfortable. I don't use straps at weddings, so I'm holding this lens in my hand and it's so wide, you're like this all day, it actually hurts your hand. So I see a difference in handling between the two, is what I'm saying. I actually prefer the handling of the Mk1. Nothing against the RF, but for me, it's very, very slow to focus. Very slow to zoom, and it's heavy, it's uncomfortable. So I went out yesterday with this and I really felt it in my hand, because you constantly have to move this and it's stiff. So something to be aware of. You need to obviously get your own cameras, hire them out. This is a lot of money to spend, so just bear that in mind. Now, optical quality, this is first rate, no problem at all. There is a slight improvement over this one in the corners. I'll link in the description to a page where I'm going to put quite a few videos about these lenses and the R system, the RF. So have a look in the description, you should find something in there. There's particular videos that other people have done about this lens where they've looked at the optical quality, and it's good, very good. So, you know, I'm not going to really go into optical quality on this one. They're great lenses, you're not going to have a problem. Canon put a lot of effort into the optical side, so you can pretty much guarantee you're getting the best at this time. A few things that are brilliant that they've changed, which was a real fault with the Mk1. It's, again, this is going to seem really minor. They've actually put a button to take the lens hood off and it will click back into place. So that click means that your petal lens hood lines up exactly. Now, a real problem with this Mk1 would be you'd be doing a wedding. I won't turn this one. You can see I've put a piece of red tape on it to keep it in place. This only has to turn slightly out of place. There's no click, and you'll have big netting. So, yeah, real improvement. And little things make a big difference in my job. That's all I can say. So imagine that turned. It did at a wedding. I remember it well. This one turned only a slight amount, and you got shading over the corner of your image. So you literally saw a black mark in the corner of your image. I remember having to crop the images. So having that lens hood with that click, that's good work. So, you know, it's a simple little thing, I know, not a deal breaker. That click, and then it's completely locked in. Really good idea, Canon. You've got this ridge on this lens, which I quite like, because your finger feels that edge and you can tell that you're on when you're going between the different rings. And you can have this, I think you can send this in for a fee, I think, and you can have this declicked so it can become a completely smooth ring. Yeah, so, you know, there are a lot of positives to this. I haven't really talked about another main one, which is stabilization. So when this stabilization in this lens acts with the stabilization in the R6, which is on the sensor, you've got quite a combination there, and I've been getting down to half a second quite nicely, quarter, half a second, 24 to 105, you know, 24 to 70 to 105, quarter, half a second. And the combination, that makes a lot of things possible. I've actually been putting neutral density filters on these lenses, 10 stop, maybe 4 or 5 stop, getting me down to this half a second. And you can do a lot of creative stuff. You can, obviously, not needing a tripod, you can show movement with people in street photography. Obviously, you can move into water, showing movement. So yeah, a good creative element there. You don't need a tripod, you can just take your camera out. So I like things like that, just that open up opportunities. And you've got a lock on this which locks it into, let's turn this off, locks this on the 24. Just as a note, if anyone from Canon's listening, it would be really nice if you could actually lock it at 35, lock it at 50, lock it at 70, lock it at 85, and that would be good, because when you're learning photography, having fixed primes will help you. So being able to lock it at 35 and work in 35 for a good period of time would teach you 35. So, you know, I see that lock could be taken further. I actually don't see the point of it just for locking the lens myself. Comment below if you do. But as a lock that could go 35, 50, etc., standard focal lengths, that could be useful. So yeah, all in all, be really pleased with that lens. And if you had an R6, an R5, R, whatever, RP, goes on their way, well. Don't expect any weight saving. I think Canon have given up on saving weight with these cameras, really. They're just going for, we discussed that another day, but what are they trying to achieve? Well, I assume edge-to-edge sharpness is what they're trying to achieve by decreasing the distance between the back element and the sensor, which you can see there on the top of the R. So that's the actual sensor position. And on this one, if I can show you, it's right at the back there, so that's where your sensor is. The distance between there and there, they were trying to reduce that distance to improve optical quality. But we're not going to talk about optical quality. As I say, there's plenty of better videos than mine you can watch all about photographing brick walls and working out which lens is the best. But from a practical point of view, I'm still going to go with this one. So I'm still on the Mk1. It's not that I don't want to spend the money. I'd happily spend the money if this was better. The zoom ring is too stiff for me at weddings. Being able to zoom quickly without affecting the body. The body stays still, just being able to flick. Use a slight tweak on that body, but when I'm holding it properly, there you go, nothing. On this one, unfortunately, this pulls the body all over the shot. Isn't great fun to use. It might loosen up, hope it does if you've got one, and that's not going to be a problem. There's another reason why I stick with this, because we can use the adapter that goes from the R6, R5 bodies, the R's, and we can put our EF lenses on there, and this works just as well as this one with that adapter. I haven't seen much difference, and this is sort of the elephant in the room for Canon, I think, because the bottom line is people are just going to use their old L lenses, and there's another benefit to using your old L lenses and keeping them, the EF lenses, the EF. We can put those onto adapters for the M system. We can put them on the old film bodies, so you can put them straight on there, the old film bodies. We can't put the RF lenses onto the S mount, so we can't put it onto that range of cameras. We can't put it onto the 5Ds. So this is a difficult time for Canon. They've got to try and push now and get everybody onto the RF mount. But unfortunately, they've produced such good lenses in the past. They're going to have a job getting us off them, to be honest with you. So I think I'll leave it there. I might put some sample images up, and we'll talk about, you know, what I think about this lens with the images. So we'll leave it there. Hope that helps you without spending a lot of money. I don't honestly feel you need to. We're talking £300-400 versus, goodness knows, 1,000. So yeah, I'm not really feeling that we need to spend this sort of money. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think the Mk1 still wins for me. I didn't even notice that until now, but we've also got a window there for depth of field. I should notice that, really. Another little bonus. Anyway, hope that helps you. It's only a short little video just to get you into these lenses and to see what's going on. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.